Imagine this. It's the year 2040. You are standing inside a habitat module on Mars. Outside, a red dust storm is raging. Inside, the air recyclers are humming, the hydroponic lights are buzzing, and at your feet lies a dead body. Someone has just committed the first murder on another planet. Now, on Earth, you know exactly what happens next. You call the police, they investigate, a prosecutor files charges, and a judge hears the case. But on Mars, you are 140 million miles away from the nearest courthouse. There is no sheriff, there are no jails, and the laws that govern you were written in 1967 by diplomats who were more worried about nuclear war than a stabbing in a space cafeteria. This scenario isn't just a dark sci-fi thought experiment. It is a looming legal crisis that threatens to break the entire framework of international space law. Today, we are going to perform a jurisdictional autopsy on the first murder on Mars and explain why your terms of service might soon become your constitution. To understand the mess we're in, we have to look at the foundation, the Outer Space Treaty of 1967. This document was designed during the Cold War to stop the US and Soviet Union from turning the moon into a military base. Its golden rule is that no nation can claim sovereignty over a celestial body. You cannot plant a flag and say, "This is America." However, there is a loophole. While you can't own the ground, the treaty says a nation retains jurisdiction over any object it launches. So, if you are standing in a habitat module registered to the United States, you are technically standing on American soil. But here is where it gets complicated. Let's look at a nightmare scenario. Imagine a habitat built by a US company like SpaceX, so it's US territory. Inside, a Chinese contractor gets in a fight with a Brazilian scientist over water rations and kills him. Who has jurisdiction? The United States says, "It happened in our module, it's our crime." China says, "The killer is our citizen, we have the right to prosecute our own people." Brazil says, "The victim was ours, we demand justice." We have three nations, three different legal systems, and no extradition treaty for Mars. And it gets worse. The US uses common law, which relies on juries and adversarial lawyers. China and Brazil use civil law, which relies on judges and codified statutes. A US citizen would demand a jury trial, but where are you going to find 12 impartial jurors on a Mars base of 50 people? You can't. So who makes the arrest? There are no US Marshals on Mars. The only authority figure is likely the colony commander, who is a private employee of a corporation. This brings us to the most terrifying aspect of Martian law, the corporate sovereign. If a private company runs the colony, they control the oxygen, the water, and the heat. In history, the closest parallel is the British East India Company, which had its own private army and laws. On Mars, if you break the rules, the company doesn't just fire you, they control your ability to breathe. If a murder happens, the corporation has a massive conflict of interest. A long trial drains resources. Keeping a prisoner alive for 2 years until the next launch window costs oxygen and food that the colony can't spare. This economic pressure pushes the colony toward brutal, archaic punishments, forced labor, rations cuts, or in the worst-case scenario, the airlock. We are looking at the potential rise of company towns, where your rights are determined by your productivity and the terms of service you signed on Earth effectively sign away your human rights. And what about the land itself? The US and the Artemis Accords have introduced the concept of safety zones. They argue that while you can't own Mars, you can own the resources you extract, and you can have a safety zone around your mind to prevent interference. Critics argue this is just sovereignty with a different name. If a company can fence off the best water, ice crater, and tell everyone else to stay out, they effectively own it. So, how does this end? History and political science tell us that colonies eventually drift away from their mother nations. It's the tyranny of distance. When communication takes 20 minutes each way, and physical help is years away, Earth's laws become irrelevant. The harsh reality of survival will force the creation of a new legal system, Lex Martiana, the law of Mars. On Earth, you have individual liberties. On Mars, collective survival comes first. Hoarding air or sabotaging a water seal isn't just theft or vandalism. It's an attempt to kill the whole tribe. We are heading toward a future where Mars will likely declare independence, not because of politics, but out of necessity. The first murder on Mars will be more than a tragedy. It will be a constitutional moment for our species. It will force us to decide if we carry our old divided nations into the stars or if we build something new. But until that happens, remember this. In the final frontier, the sheriff is millions of miles away, and the law is whatever the person controlling the airlock says it is. If you want to keep exploring the future with us, hit that subscribe button, and let me know in the comments, if you were the commander, how would you handle the first crime on the red planet?